I've owned this Tesla Model Y Juniper for almost 5 months and 5,000 miles. And don't get me wrong, I love this car, but there are 8 things that drive me absolutely crazy about this car, and I need to talk about them. Now, don't click away, because unlike other people that just want to complain about the problems, I'm going to show you what I did to work around those problems to make you happier with your car. So trust me, if you're looking to buy a Tesla Model Y, or you already have one, you're going to want to watch this. Stick around. Let's just get right into it and start with the first thing that drives me crazy, and that is right here, and that is the glove box. Because if you're from a legacy Model Y, this thing is comically small. And to call it a glove box is actually pretty fitting now, because about all you can fit in there is a pair of gloves. But I know you're going to say, you don't really use it for anything. Maybe you might store the manual or whatever in there, but there is one thing you got to get to, and that is the USB port there way in the back. See, the new Model Y, and we'll get to this in a second, which is another complaint of mine, is the only data port inside this car is back there in the back of the glove box. And you have any hand size whatsoever. My hands aren't that large. It is difficult to get your hand back there. And I think it's a bit of a miss on Tesla's part, but there you go. However, I do have a solution, at least to the data port problem, and that is this right here. This is a USB splitter, because you may want to plug in more than just your Sentry mode. You might want to plug in a custom light show or custom sound effects. Well, if you're going to do that without a splitter, it's just going to be that one USB-A port way back there in the back, and to get it unplugged and plugged in is a pain. So with this, you can go ahead and plug this in, and you've got 3 attachments here that you can plug in 3 things. And it's got a cord, which allows you to do everything outside the glove box. So this is from Amazon, and I'll leave a link in the description below so you can pick up one of your own. So the glove box, not great. This helps. The next thing that drives me crazy about my Model Y is the just general charging available in this car. USB and charging. It is lacking, I'll just say. Located up here in the front cubby, there's just a 12-volt cigarette outlet, and that's all you get. Located back here in the back, there is a single USB-C port. Now, yes, you do have 2 ports in the back seat, and we do route cables up to the front, but it's not great. I use this MagBack charger here up here on the screen. I love it, but it requires a cord to go somewhere, and the cord right now is fished down on the side and goes all the way to the back here, and cable management isn't great. There really needs to be some sort of better USB option, especially up here in the front. And also, as I said when I was looking at the glove box, none of these are data ports anymore. In the old legacy Model Y, any USB port was a data port. None of these are data ports. They're there for charging and power only, so the data is only over there in the glove box. So the question is, how do we solve this problem? Well, fortunately, there are some aftermarket products that can help you out. You can get a hub and splitter and do kind of things, but this product here, which is a center console tray for your Tesla Model Y Juniper, this is from Handshow, I'll leave a link in the description below, has a built-in hub. There are 2 USB-C and a USB-A in there, and on the bottom end, we've got our 12-volt cigarette adapter. We'll go ahead and slide that tray in, plug it in, and there you go. Now I have 3 more USB options up here in the front, but it's not great, especially for the charging of your phone, because you still have to route the cable around and in and somehow, but I think I've got an answer for that. Well, the center console hub is nice, but I'm going to take it one step further, because the USB in there is still inside your center console, and you have to get cables from outside your center console in there, and that isn't always good cable management, especially with this charger right up here. I want to be able to hide this cable completely, and a way to do that is with this little guy right here. This little guy will take your OBD port. What is that, you may ask? Well, it's a port that is underneath, up in the footwell of your Model Y or Model 3. It plugs into that, and it will power USB-A and USB-C. So you can take anything that you want, 2 things actually, plug them in up front, completely up front, and not have to worry about getting the cables back down to your center console. Now, there are even more things in this car that drive me crazy, but the one thing that doesn't drive me crazy is this phone charger right here from the sponsor of this video, MagBack, because this charger I've had in all of my Teslas, and I think it's the absolute perfect screen charger because one, it integrates perfectly to the car and it's got an extremely strong magnetic MagSafe mount. And if you want to kick things up a notch, I also pair it with the MagBack phone case. This is the OG phone case. It's got its own magnet in it as well. It'll stick to any magnetic surface, even the front bumper of the car. And when you put it up here on the screen, it holds solid and it isn't going to go anywhere. Now, if you want to take the case up to the next notch, they have their new MagBack Elite case. The Elite case has a whole new design, color options. It also has that same magnet inside to allow you to stick it on any surface, but it also comes with a finger loop for make it easier to hold on, and also a kickstand for media viewing. So the combination of the MagBack case, the MagBack charger, and its position in the car makes this a perfect charger in my opinion, because I'll tell you, the location is perfect if you need to glance at your phone or check Waze or have a phone call, and the Tesla Nav isn't going to yell at you for it. I would highly encourage all of you to go give MagBack a look, and if you do, make sure you use the checkout code IowaTeslaGuide to save you 15% on that order. Thanks to MagBack for sponsoring today's video. Now, the next thing that drove me crazy about my Model Y was this up here, and that is the fabric dash. What you're seeing here is my solution to the problem, and that is a dark Alcantara dash. This is actually an aftermarket. I'll leave a link in the description below, but it basically mimics what came with the launch edition, which launched with the first Juniper cars very early on. However, everything that comes after that comes with this light colored fabric, and that causes reflections. It causes reflections in the glass and the mirrors. And if you are like us and you do a lot of road tripping, you like to take photographs or video from your car, those create reflections and also detract. Don't really like it, but the solution is replace the dash. I have a video on that. I'll link above. Super simple to swap out. Highly recommend. Really takes the look of this car up to the next level and completely eliminates the glare. The next thing that drives me crazy about the Model Y is right up here in the front, and that is the frunk. And it's not just a problem with the Juniper, it's a problem with all Model Ys because it is manual. You press the button from the screen, it just goes ka-chunk, it opens up, you gotta get out, you gotta open it, you gotta close it. Because the back is absolutely motorized, and I can press a button, I can open it, I can do it from inside the car, and I can close it. That makes the utility of the back so much better. Having a manual frunk in this car just doesn't cut it. Well, the solution here is putting in an automated powered frunk that when you press the button, it works just like the back. It opens up, press the button again, and it'll close. Again, I'll leave a link to all these products below, but this is my solution to something that should have been in this car definitely, and I would have loved to have seen it in the Legacy Model Y. Now, the next thing that drives me crazy about this car happens right here in the door sills. Might not think about those, but in the new Juniper, the insides of these things are carpeted. And I don't know about you, but I have trash cans. I put spent cans that I've drank in here while I'm road tripping. It just turns out to be a collection point for garbage. And having these carpeted really don't aid in the cleanup process. Now, I think I know why they did it is because it probably helps with sound and road noise, but trying to deal with the cleanup of these things can be a bit of a nightmare if you spill something there. Now, I have a solution for that also, and that's this, and this is a door sill, kind of a Rubbermaid cubby here that will literally go inside here, and it is a tight fit. It's got some Velcro on the back, and it just fits in there just like that. So when I put in my trash, and I put in my cans, and if I spill some drinks, it's not going anywhere because it's made out of that Rubbermaid material. And I get the sound deadening from the carpet still underneath it, and I get the protection that I want in case I spill. And I think it looks pretty good too. Hardly even notice it's there. Now the next thing on the list is something I have to admit I don't have a good solution for, and that is the seats. The seats in the Juniper, frankly, just aren't as comfortable as the legacy seats, and it has to do with a feature that I absolutely love, which is having ventilated seats, and having them over this summer was a great feature. But that feature comes with a trade-off, which is comfort. They aren't completely uncomfortable. I've taken this on many long road trips and it's fine, but I will tell you that the legacy seats generally are softer, nicer, and better. And when my wife first sat in this car on day one of getting it, the very first thing she noticed was the seats aren't as comfortable. And I posted on X and tons of you said, I agree with you. So unfortunately, this one, I don't have a good solution for because you just kind of got to live with it. Now, the last two things that drive me crazy about that car have to do with the steering of the system. And the solution for both are actually the same, and I'll get to that. But let's talk about the first thing that I don't like. And if you've never had a legacy Model Y, you might not notice it, but they changed the steering wheel turn ratio from lock to lock from 2 rotations, 1, 2, to 2.5. So when you're making turns manually, the steering just doesn't feel as sporty and it doesn't feel as tight. But I know why they did it. They said it was to increase comfort during drive, but I personally prefer the sportier feel of the steering wheel rack, but this is what they did. Which leads me to the second thing that I don't like, which is the steering wheel itself, because they changed the steering wheel obviously based on having no stock and buttons and the size and shape, but that's not what bugs me. What bugs me is that they put the stitching for the wheel on the back side. So when I wrap my fingers around it, that's all I feel is the stitching. On the legacy Model Ys, the stitching was on the inside and you never felt it. But unless I get an aftermarket steering wheel, I'm going to have to live with it. However, the solution is full self-driving. Full self-driving fixes both of these last two things that drive me crazy, because with the steering ratio being 2.5 instead of 2, and the stitching, full self-driving, you never touch the wheel, so it really doesn't matter. So that's the solution to these two complaints. All right. Those are the 8 things. Those are the 8 things that drive me absolutely crazy about my Tesla Model Y. Would I do it any differently? Absolutely not. This is still an amazing car. And hopefully I showed you some things that will help you get around some of those pain points. Not all of them, but most of them. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, I'd appreciate you going down there and tapping that like button. And if you're new to the channel, subscriptions are always welcome. And if you're looking to pick up a Tesla of your own, highly recommend it. It's still a really great car. Make sure you start that process by using a referral link. Use any referral link you want, but if you want to use mine at iowateslaguy.com, that would be great. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you on the next one.